Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddha Jnanaikamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namah. When someone is utterly miserable, the most appealing advice for them is when you say, just let go everything. You know, when you're very frustrated, what you say, I'm just running away. I just give up. Isn't it? What do you say? I just give up. I can't handle anymore. I'm not going to attend to it anymore. I'm just leaving. Isn't it very common among the spouse and among parents? I'm leaving. I quit. Because quitting is what appeals to you. That shows the degree of your misery. You're more miserable, then you say, I quit. So Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, quit everything. Like the turtle, when someone comes to hit a turtle, what it does? It takes all its organs inside the shell. Like that you go within. You quit everything. Know yourself. Because yourself is supreme. Yourself is indestructible. Water cannot wet yourself. Fire cannot burn yourself. You are not the body, you are the self, you are the spirit. So quit everything. Renunciation is what he tells him first. And it appealed to Arjuna, then he listened. Once you know you are going to quit, now you have a ear to hearing. You hear what others are saying. You give your ear to hear. So when Arjuna started listening to Krishna, the next thing he says is, you have to act. Action 100%. You put yourself, act without getting attached to the action. Whatever may be the result, never mind. Put your 100%, you have to act. Because nothing you can achieve without acting. You have to act. If you have an illness, you have to act to get out of the illness. Right? If you are hungry, you have to eat to get out of the state of hunger. You have to work, and everybody works in this planet, because without action, not a being can stand even for a minute. Action is important. So he says, what is the right action? What is the wrong action? What is inaction? What is action? He described all that thing in the 4th chapter and the 5th chapter. Then this was good enough for Arjuna to get confused. And that was the job of Krishna. Krishna was never there to convince people, but to confuse. If you see in the history, whereas both Krishna and Lord Buddha was born on the same, Lord Krishna and Lord Buddha, both of them were born in the same place, India. Buddha's teaching was accepted far and wide It went to China, Japan, Korea. Everywhere people understood Buddha. Because it was very simple, straightforward, convincing. He simply said, there is sorrow in life. Life is miserable. Everybody said, yes, this is our experience. It is obvious. And then he said, it is possible to get out of the misery. Then they said, oh yeah, it looks like that. Then they're more interested to hear a little more. There is a way to get out of misery. It all appealed. It was simple, straightforward. People accepted it. But Krishna's teaching was very complicated. It is confusing, confronting. So only intellectuals or people with certain maturity could understand Lord Krishna's argument because it's very confusing. Arjuna himself tells Krishna, oh Krishna, tell me one thing. A minute ago you said renounce everything, then you are glorifying action. You are glorifying renunciation at one point and you are glorifying action. Tell me one thing what I should do and what would bring me benefit. There starts the fifth chapter. Starts with the confusion. Anything that starts with the confusion ends in bliss. At least with the wise people, that is the case. Because every confusion indicates you are moving one step forward. Only the intelligent get confused. A dull person cannot get confused. Intelligent people get confused because their intelligence start working, judging, discriminating. Arjuna was very clever, very intelligent. So all the more there is possibility for him to be confused. Fools don't get confused. Isn't that so? They don't learn. You get confused because you learn more and more. So now he's thoroughly confused because a while ago Lord Krishna said Sankhya Yoga means know that the self is immortal and renounce all the action, he said. Then he said, you have to act. These are two major steps in life. So, when Arjuna again asked Krishna, come on, tell me, I'm confused even more now. What is correct? Then Lord Krishna says, it's the fools who think acting 100% and giving it up are different. Renunciation and yoga or karma yoga, skill in action are separate. When you renounce, then you get the skill in action. When you have the skill in action, when you act skillfully, then there is renunciation there. You are free from that action. So it's the wise people don't see that they are different. It is the unintelligent who see they are conflicting. And it is easy to do an action 100% and be free rather than not doing the action, because you act according to your nature. And if you forcefully renounce and then in the mind you keep thinking about it, And he said that is no renunciation at all. So acting 100%, the karma yoga is far superior than just renouncing. But properly done, they both give you the benefit of each other. That means it is as good as giving up or not acting when you act 100%. Is it enough to confuse you? If you have done something 100%, you are free from it. And it is better to be free doing an action, to finishing it 100%, rather than feeling bound by it and and dropping something with frustration. When people give up, tell them, when do you give up things? Not when you're happy, but when you're miserable. That's when you say, I give up. I want to go away. I want to move away. I want to drop everything. I want to run away. All these feelings come when you're frustrated. So when you're frustrated, you can never be complete. You are clinging on to the object, and that's going to frustrate you. You're clinging on to situations, circumstances. It is bound to frustrate you one day or other. The wise recognizes this, and so he skillfully manages to work around it. And how? Knowing that our sense and sense objects, they go along, they work together, knowing that I am separate from this, I am not involved. That's why when you ask people who have done great work, they tell them, I didn't do it, it just happened. Whenever you have done something and great, something very good, and you have achieved results, what do you say? It has happened, it happened, I didn't do much at all. Don't you say this? You say, I didn't do much, it all happened. In the same way, when someone has done heinous crime, you go to any prison and ask people, how many of you really committed the crime? Nobody will raise their hand. So how many of you were falsely implicated? They will all raise their hand. I've seen many of them raise their hand saying being falsely accused or imprisoned. So there is a part of you which feels it never was part of the action. It remains a witness to the action. There is a part in you. That is the real part, the reference to all changes. That has never got itself involved in any action or activity. And there is another part which is into all activity. So when you know both this, that part which is not acting and that part which is acting, there is discrimination, there is wisdom in life. There is discrimination between what is real, what is unreal, what's good, what's not good, what to be done, what not to be done. This wisdom dawns. That's called viveka. It's translated in English as discrimination, but I feel it is much more than discrimination. It is that wisdom. Developing that wisdom in you is skill in action. So when a person is very miserable, you tell him, do this, do that, be aware, don't do the mistakes. None of this will appeal to a person, right? At that time, but hey, just come on, let go. Drop it, come on, let go. That is much easier. So Krishna knows where the student is, where his disciple is, where his friend is. So he guides him step by step. So he says, put your foot on this step. That's just one step. And when he has stepped on that, then they say, okay, put in the next one. Leave the previous one and put you. It's like climbing the steps, ascending to a higher plane. So naturally, it has to be contradictory. Leave this and then go on to this. Then he said, leave that, go on to that. This is better. When we have to walk long distance, sometimes parents would say, see that lamp post? Just there, beyond that. And you walk to the lamp post, then they say, no, not this one, this is the other one. So children will cry and say, no, I don't want to walk. And they say, Dad will take you, carry you for some time and then drag you along. A little bit, little further, little further. That gives a great comfort. In the caring, with that care and compassion, Lord Krishna brings Arjuna out of the rut that he was in. He thought he's very brilliant. He knows it all. That's how people who are miserable think. They know everybody, they know everything. They are the masters of their own. They know what is good, what is not good. They know what to do, what not to do. You don't need to tell me what I should be doing. That's the tone of their, that's the tone that they come up with, isn't it? I know what I should be doing. No spouse ever listen to their spouse's advice when they are frustrated. I know, you don't tell me what I should be doing. Same with the friends, same with father and son or mother and daughter, children, same with the children and parents. They think they know it. So Arjuna in the beginning was in that state and said, I know it all. Why you are asking me to fight this war? It's going to bring me a lot of sin. I'm going to be miserable. Even if I win the war, I will be miserable. I lose it, I'll be even more miserable. I'm going to quit. That's what Arjuna was saying. And Lord Krishna says, no, come on. Know yourself. It's indestructible. It is different. It's unblemished. Come on, stop crying. Wake up. Once he was able to come out of that misery a little bit, not completely though, then he tells him, no, karma yoga, you have to act. Not being feverish about the action, about the fruit of the action. Not dependent on the outcome of the action. If you act, that person is real renunciant. He is yogi. Yogi is not one who has just dropped everything and sitting in Himalayas. Anashrita karma palam karyam karma karotiyah sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnir na cha kriya. Gyeyah sa nitya sannyasi yona dveshti na kankshati nirdvandvo hi mahabaho sukam badna pramuchyate. One who does not hate or does not crave for anything is real recluse, real sannyasi. And he is free from the bondage of, when you are craving for happiness, that's what makes you weak. Your craving for joy makes you utterly weak. It says, come out of this craving and aversion, come out of hatred, hatred and cravings. You need certain wisdom, certain maturity to be a recluse. Many people take the vow of celibacy and become recluses without having the ability, capability to do that. And that's where you find a lot of problems happening among the priests, among the sadhus. Out of anger or out of some concept of heaven hereafter, people become sannyasis, recluses, and it doesn't work. So you need to qualify in order to become a recluse. And to qualify to that level is not possible for everybody. So without being qualified with that wisdom, that centeredness, if you become a recluse, he says, you will be more miserable. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriya sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvan napina lipyate. But if you are doing your action, karma yogi, in the path of yoga, you purify yourself, your soul. You gain a say over your senses. You win over yourself. Yourself, your mind, your senses, and you realize you are the same being like everybody else. It is the same being that is in you that is in everybody. And you are part of everybody. With this understanding that you are part of everybody or you are nobody, you are another phenomenon on this planet. When you realize this and when you are acting, even though you act, you will not be bound by the action. The consequences of that action will not bind you, will not trouble you, will not make you miserable. So how a yogi works is naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyate tattvavit. By one's own experience, not just by reading. With the deep experience, I am not doing anything. When you're in touch with that aspect of you, which is not doing anything, still you are touching, smelling, tasting, hearing, sitting, walking, eating, doing all these actions, you still feel you are separate from all these actions, and you feel the senses and sense objects are coming together, going apart, but I am just a witness, I'm not doing anything. You remain unfazed by it, and that is what is karma yoga is all about. ब्रह्मण्यादाय कर्माणि संगम त्यक्त्वा करोति यः लिप्यते न स पापेन पद्मपत्र विमांबसा. Out of anger, you go and whack somebody, you are going to get reaction. And you will be bothered, and that other person will be even more bothered. But the same action when a police does to control a mob, it doesn't touch him. Right? A police comes back home, he has done his duty. If he has not done it, then it will be a problem for him. He'll say, I didn't perform my duty. I could have stopped the riot. I didn't do it. I was simply standing and witnessing it. My duty is to keep peace. So to keep peace, you have to control the crowd. If you have to cane or whack somebody, you have to do it. And that's the job of the police. Right? He does it without getting involved out of anger or out of hatred. कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या केवलैरिन्द्रियैरपि योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति संगम त्यक्त्वात्मशुद्धये. To purify oneself, a yogi, either through body or through mind or through intellect or just through senses, keeps doing work without getting attached to the work or the result of the work, result of that action. He keeps working to purify oneself. When you have dropped the fruit of action, are not expecting a result for your action, letting go of the result, like when you are doing a game, when you are playing a game, if you know the result of the game beforehand, you can't be sincere in your game, playing the game, isn't it? If you know you're going to win, will you be sincere in playing the game? No. If you know you're going to lose, will you be sincere in playing a game? Either a game or an election contest. Contesting an election, if you know you're going to lose, will you be sincere? No. So, not knowing the outcome, your action, you play 100%. So, whatever is the outcome, you let go, you do 100%. Not like the election thing, there you are feverish about the result. But not knowing what's going to happen keeps you in sort of anxiety, stress. But not minding whatever is going to happen, you put your 100%. That is the action of a yogi. Yukta karma palam tyaktva. Yukta, one who is united with the being. How does he behave? He is unattached to the result. Shanti mapnoti naishtikim. He's so centered and he has that peace which is unshakable, unmovable. न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभो न कर्म फल संयोगम स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते. There is the other type of action which just happens out of its one's nature. You don't even call it an action that you are acting. It is an action that happens spontaneously out of involuntary action. A child falls down, you suddenly go and pick up the child. Because it's in your genes, it's built in you to help somebody when they're in trouble. Don't you do that? Do you have to learn in school whenever someone trips from the steps, you have to go and help them? No, it is but natural. In that state of action, your action is akin to God's action. There is no doer there. There is spontaneity. And an action done spontaneously does not even form your karma. It doesn't come to you as a karma. Because it is coming out of your own nature. That's why when a tiger or a lion prays, it doesn't get any sin. A cat kills a rat, it doesn't get a sin because it is in its nature, it's in its genes. Similarly, in your body, there are many cells which are attacking the foreign germs that get into your body. All the white blood cells go and attack them. That is not going to cause you any sin. No. Many actions happen spontaneous. Similarly, sometimes you get angry, like children, children get angry in a minute and then they cool down the next minute. That doesn't form them any karma at all. Because you are connected with the universal being, you're connected with the innermost, unchangeable, non-changing, imperishable aspect of your being. नादत्ते कश्चित् पापं न चैव सुकृतं विभुः अज्ञानेनावृतं ज्ञानं तेन मुह्यन्ति जन्तवः. God is not making you do some good work or bad work. Usually people, oh, God made me do this. When you do something wrong, well, I didn't do it, God made me do this. If God made you do something wrong, God will come to you in the form of police and take you also. Person says, I didn't do it, God made me do this. Why did God made me do this? And He will punish you also. That inner spirit in you has no sin nor any merit. No merit can touch the spirit, nor can any sin. It's only the ignorance that is covering the knowledge. Like the husk which has covered the paddy. Knowledge is covered by ignorance. And that's what what everybody is going through. Tena muhyanti jantava. Inside you there is knowledge, there is wisdom, but it is covered by ignorance. And that's why you feel that you did that, you did that, you didn't do that, or you got this karma, you didn't get that karma. Neither good action nor bad action will anyway touch the innermost chord in you, the innermost spirit in you. Everything is only on the circumference. Inside you are glowing light. But you are covered by the layer of ignorance. And once the knowledge is kindled in you, like when the sun comes, the dews disappear. Knowledge takes its turn, the wisdom takes reigns again in your life, putting behind the ignorance. Like the ignorance had covered the knowledge, the wisdom in you, when awareness comes up, when you wake up, knowledge dominates in your life. As you grow older, as you become mature, you see in your life certain things you did in the past, it appears to be very useless, meaningless, and how many of you feel that way? Many things you did, said, you thought about, you are worried about, you suddenly feel it's all useless, it's stupid, it's meaningless. No, you don't make an effort to leave that. You have simply left them. Or they have left you. You have gone far away from them. Isn't it? How many of you feel that way? You're far away. You didn't make an effort to even leave those habits or those tendencies or those things which at one point of time has covered your whole being. Now when you wake up, like the sun has, like when the sun shines, the dews disappear. You woke up and then all that disappeared out of you. Ignorance simply left you. Tadbudhyastadatmanas tannishtastatparayana gacchantya punaravrittim jnana nirdhuta kilbisha. Knowing this, lodging this in our intellect and in our spirit, in our self. Many times we know, but we really don't follow it. We know what this is good and we don't do it. We know this is bad, then we don't get out of it. Why? We know it only intellectually, but it has not touched our spirit. That is not become part of our spirit. We don't have commitment towards it. When you have this tad buddhya, knowing that intellectual, tadatma, tadatmanaha, making it a part of you, your spirit, tanishta, having commitment towards it, making it a part of your routine, a habit. An individual does not take birth again, free from ignorance, free from blemishes, free from impurities. He shines in that knowledge. As I said, we know sometimes this is good, but we have not made a commitment towards it. When you make a commitment, you make it happen, right? And how do you increase your commitment? Only three things can increase your commitment. First is love for it. When you love something, you don't need a commitment. It becomes your breath, your spirit, your soul. It's part of you. You don't need a commitment. I would say love, number one. Second, greed. If someone tells you, you will get $10 million if you do your pranayama without fail for next 3 months, 180 days, maybe 6 months. If you do your pranayamas regularly without missing a day, you're going to get $10 million. Will any one of you miss a day? No way. Not, you will say, I will do an extra month. Why 6 months? Why 180 days? 210 days I will do. Maybe there is a mistake between day and week. Maybe I should do 180 weeks. I'm ready to do 180. 3 years, not just 6 months. I want to do it. You will do it religiously, vigorously. So if you miss one count this side, that side, you don't want to lose $10 million. Or come what may, you may starve, but you will not stop doing pranayama. You may forgo your sleep, but you will not stop doing. Yes? Tell me honestly, how many of you will do that? Yes? Yeah? Greed can make you do things. Greed can keep you on track. Similarly, fear can also. If someone tells you, if you don't do this, some big danger is going to come to you. You're going to be in trouble. Some problem is going to happen to you. Oh my God, let me just do it. Your commitment is either out of love, out of fear, or greed. There is no fourth flavor in commitment. Only these three. So, with commitment, you can lodge that wisdom in your daily routine, in your daily life. When such knowledge is lodged in our intellect, you are equanimous, and that's why you are called Pandit. Nowadays, we use the word Pandit everywhere. Use it. The Pandit word is used as an expert. You will see, read it in the financial, right from the financial field to the field of arts and artists. Pandit word is being used for experts. But who is a real Pandit? Pandita Samadarshina, one who sees everyone the same, one who has that equanimity. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Kavi Hastina Shunashvecha Shvapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. Because he recognizes that unchanging or non-changing eternal spirit, the same spirit present in everybody, whether it's a dog or a horse or an elephant or an intelligent or a fool, in everyone there is the same spirit, that same entity, the same divinity is there. When you recognize this, you see that equanimity. When you see that, you recognize that sameness, the oneness in everybody, then you are Pandit. Then you are a wise person. And a wise person means one who has wisdom, recognize the same in everyone. Then he said, who is the realized person, how he should be? When something pleasant comes your way or something unpleasant comes your way, you don't go yo-yo. That is, you don't rejoice it because you're too much, or you don't become too miserable. You always maintain that stability of intellect. The most unstable is our intellect. 1 minute we say something, next minute something else. We start liking and then we start disliking. And have that wisdom. Having that wisdom means stable intellect. When you have commitment in your life, intellect stabilizes. When the commitment is loose, then the intellect goes yo-yo because your life is swayed by craving or by aversion, likes and dislikes. And as likes and dislikes changes in your life, your stability also gets affected. Brahma with Brahman sthita. One who is established in the Brahman, the universal spirit, is always stable. Come what may. Such a person, is he very dull, dry? Usually, if someone is not going up and down, is very equanimous, they could be very inert because nothing touches them, isn't it? If no sorrow touches him and no happiness just makes him go jump up and down, that means he must be so inert. As is no, 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 no. He derives, though he is not looking for the pleasure from the external stimuli, his pleasure he draws from within, from the spirit eternal that's deep within everybody. He is attached to the source of infinite joy, which is the very core of his being. So he expresses that joy, expresses that happiness. And that is the sign of a Brahmagyani or knower of the Brahman. One who is united with the universal spirit, the divinity, is undying happiness wells from within. And then he says, who is really intelligent is one who knows that anything that comes from external stimuli is going to cause misery. It has a beginning and it has an end. Suppose eating a dessert is giving you great joy, and there is a beginning to it, there is an end to it. Right? And how much dessert can you eat? Suppose you enjoy eating ice cream, one ice cream will give you joy, two becomes well manageable, the third one becomes miserable, the fourth one is really torture. If you are asked to have four, by that time your mouth has become numb. It doesn't taste, your tongue cannot roll afterwards. So whatever gave you joy as one, when it became four, when you continued on that, started giving you misery. Similarly, you enjoy someone's company, and then just suppose you are locked up in a room with that person for the next 10 months, I'm sure you will beat your chest and your head to get away from them. You can't tolerate them 24 hours with one person. However good they have been, it's unless you are a Brahmagyan, you are stable and centered, established in your spirit, then nothing matters to you. Because you are not looking for joy or happiness to come to you from that situation or that person. You are a giver rather than a beggar. So the intelligent person is not begging for happiness, it's a giver of happiness. And today, the most intellectual people or the so-called intellectuals, they are not giver of joy, they scare people away. so stiff and rigid and suspicious. They are scared themselves and they scare everybody else away. There is not an iota of joy in many of the so-called intellectuals or pseudo-intellectuals. They know it all only in their head, nothing in their life. Even you squeeze them, you can't get a drop of joy or friendliness out of them. So dry, so dry, so uninteresting, isn't it? Isn't that so? You antasukha antararama. One who rests in the inner happiness, in the inner space, immersed in the inner light, that yogi attains the highest. Here and hereafter. And what do? Sarva bhuta hiterata. They always do, one who is established, such people always do actions that are beneficial to everybody. Their actions are always beneficial. They have no doubts of any sort. Without having any doubts, they engage in such actions which would only benefit everyone and everyone. And now, how to do that? How to get rid of anger? How to get rid of desires? He says, meditate, do pranayam, pranapano samau kritva nasa abhyantara charino. The breathing is happening in you. Breath is linked to different emotions. Now attend to do some pranayamas. There are different kind of pranas in our system. 5 different kinds of main pranas, pancha prana, pancha upaprana, 10 pranas totally. We will see about that tomorrow.